Have you experienced a few culture shocks when you've moved to a new location? Well, that's what we're talking about today, and we'll be right back. Hey everyone, it's Sonya Leonard with Sonya Leonard Homes in Statesville, North Carolina. Today we're talking about some of the differences you're going to find when you move to a new place. We all know that there's going to be differences in food and weather and those types of things. So today I wanted to talk about what I found were my top 5 differences when I moved here to the Statesville, North Carolina area. Now, just to give you a little bit of background, I lived part of my life in Florida, so I was a little bit of a Southern girl, although most people here will tell you Florida's not the South, although how far south can you go? Florida's pretty far south. And then I moved to New Hampshire for 20 years and lived in New England and very much enjoyed the area. And then I moved here 21 years ago. So I'm kind of known as a halfback, and I'm proud of that. But with that brings some challenges. So let's talk about my top 5 things that I discovered were my biggest cultural shocks when I moved here. Number 1, you gotta learn the language. Y'all got to learn the language. You gotta learn to draw your R's. In New Hampshire, especially if you'll talk to my husband who's from Vermont, he is a mock, and park the car in the garage. There's no R's in there anywhere. And in the far south, you do draw your R's. I'm from Florida, so I do have some R's in my thing. But in the south here, you gotta draw your R's out a lot. Just draw them out. Y'all know what I'm talking about? It's really funny to listen to sometimes. Now, I'm always a challenge to people because I'm a little bit of both, so they can't really quite figure out what my accent is. But they'll certainly come up to you and say, y'all aren't from around here, are you? You're busted. Number 2, the food. Now, part of being from different places around the country, we all pride ourselves on what's different in our area about our food. Now, North Carolina, they are known for their barbecue. And if you want to talk barbecue around here, you be ready for a throwdown because everybody has the best barbecue. And you are going to find all different kinds. It's not just one kind of barbecue. Let me tell you a little story about my husband and I's first experience when we moved here, because it was quite the culture shock. In New England, when you have barbecue, you have like a quarter piece of chicken put on a grill and slathered with a whole bunch of just barbecue sauce. That's barbecue. Sticks right to it, sticks to your mouth, sloppy in your fingers. Here, no, not so much. We went to a restaurant and my husband ordered the barbecue. And the lady brought out a plate and he looked down and he said, I ordered the barbecue. And she said, oh, honey, that is the barbecue. Well, it was nothing like what we were used to. What it was a pile of chopped up meat on his plate and a couple of bottles of sauce sitting there waiting for him to make his choice. So we both kind of sat there, looked at each other and figured, what the heck, might as well try it. And it was actually really good. Now, one of my biggest shocks when I moved here is I love a good deli dog. And I'm talking the kind that are all linked together, you know, in a big long thing, and you can break them apart, and then when you eat them, they're really snappy. And in New England, they would have a split top roll that I would love to put those on, a nice grilled one, and then put ketchup and relish. That was my favorite. And when I came here, started looking around for my deli dog, lo and behold, no deli dogs and no split top rolls. I pretty much went into withdrawals. I had to wait for one of our friends from New Hampshire to visit us to bring me hot dogs and rolls. That was my treat from New England. And relish, you would think that would be really easy to find. Nope. 21 years ago, they had chow chow on the shelves. I couldn't even find a jar of just regular relish. Now, things have changed in 21 years. There's a lot of people here from other places around the world that I think have demanded it. So plenty of relish now. And I can even find my hot dogs now in the local Publix store. And let's talk about beverages while we're at it. Now, when you sit down to eat here, the waitress is usually standing right beside you with a pitcher of sweet tea. And when I say sweet tea, I'm talking hurt your teeth sweet tea. It's not just a tablespoon of sugar in your tea. Oh no. No, it's at least a half a cup of sugar, if not more. And it varies by restaurant to restaurant. Some are semi-sweet, some are super sweet, and you just never know until you take a swig of it. Now, our other popular beverage is Pepsi. Did you know that Pepsi was born in the North Carolina area? Sure was. So you're probably going to see a little more red, white, and blue around here than you are red and white. Just saying. Number 3. This one's dirty. Red clay. Yep. It is some nasty stuff. So in New England, you would have nice, rich, dark soil that you could just dig in. Nice and soft, nice and rich. Anything would grow in it. Florida, you had sand down there, kind of that gray sand, yet grass still managed to grow in it. North Carolina, we have red clay. And if you'll see, when you're driving around here, you're going to see all kinds of brick houses. And the reason for that is because the red clay is plentiful around here, so they made bricks out of it. However, it is no fun to plant in. If you're going to dig in red clay, you better wait for a rainstorm before you even begin to put a shovel in the ground. This stuff is hard as bricks. And if you try to do something in the summertime, like me as a real estate agent trying to put a sign in the yard, pretty much impossible. Even my giant sledgehammer in my car will not penetrate this ground. I actually have to bring a big container of water with me to soak the ground first before I can even get my signs in the yard. Crazy. Now, you wouldn't think grass would grow in this stuff, but miracles upon miracles, it does. Just put the fertilizer in there, put the grass seed down, and when it rains, it will actually grow a really nice lawn. Now, the downfall to this red clay is your clothing. If you like white socks and white t-shirts, forget about it. Those socks, no sense on even bleaching them, throw them out. You're never going to get the clay out of them. My husband has gone through more socks and t-shirts since we have lived here than I can even count. And if you want to see a real color change, watch the color of Lake Norman change after a heavy rainstorm. Waters come down from the mountains and from the sides of the hills and brings all that red clay right along with it. And our whole lake will turn a lovely shade of brown orange. It's really interesting. And if you try to see your hand under the water, nope, not going to happen. All you're going to see is clay. Trust me, it's interesting. Number 4, churches. That's right. North Carolina is part of the Bible Belt. And I never really knew what that meant until I got here. I mean, obviously, I knew that there were churches, a lot of religion. But what I didn't know was that there's literally a church on every corner. No kidding. Everywhere you look, I don't think you can stand in any one place without looking 360 degrees and not see a church. There are more churches here than I had ever seen in my entire life. Now, they are every denomination, but mostly Baptist. I would say the vast majority. And if you're a Catholic, you're really going to have to look hard because there's usually only one of those in a town. But rest assured, if you're looking for a church when you get here, you are not going to have a problem finding one. And last but not least, number 5, the weather. One of the main reasons that I moved to North Carolina. Now, we get some beautiful weather here pretty much year round. When I lived in New Hampshire, the year that we got snow in May, I told my husband, we're out of here. Not doing it anymore. When you only get about 3 or 4 months of decent weather, it's just not enough for me. So we made our move here, and I'll tell you, I have never looked back. We kind of have the best of all worlds here. We may get a snowstorm, maybe 1 or 2 a year, but they're very mild, and they're usually gone in a couple of days. Now, when they do holler snow, you want to get your bread and milk. No joke. Because they don't have a lot of snow plows here. So the roads really don't get taken care of, especially the back roads. They'll take care of the main roads, but back roads stay pretty slippery when you can't clean them off. And the kids can't really get to the buses or anything. So school's usually canceled for several days here. I know people in the north just laugh about that. They think it's hilarious because we get a couple of inches of snow and everything is canceled. But until you're here driving those roads that never get cleaned off, you can't really sit there and laugh about it. It really is dangerous. I would say for the most, our weather here is really great year-round. I love it. Spring is my favorite time. Fall is always beautiful here. We do get 4 seasons for sure. And like I said, if I want to ski, I can just go an hour away and there's ski slopes up there. So I encourage you to come check out North Carolina. Comment below and let me know what your cultural shock has been when you came here to North Carolina. What did you find was different from where you moved from? I would love to hear about it. Thank you for joining me today, and I hope you'll come back and check out my channel as we talk about things that are happening in and around Statesville, North Carolina, and the whole Lake Norman region, and specifically real estate. See you soon.